everyone, and welcome back to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm going to share with you how easy it is to make corned beef. I had never made this before a couple days ago, and it turned out so delicious and could not have been simpler to make. So I figured with St. Patrick's Day coming up, there's corned beef in the meat case at all the grocery stores, and if you were interested in preparing it but didn't know how, I'm going to share that with you today. Also, I had a little bit left over, so I created a hot Reuben dip recipe that was out of this world, so I'm going to share that with you too. I bought my corned beef brisket from Aldi. I chose a flat cut, which is supposed to be a little bit leaner than the point cut, which is the alternative option. The meat itself is already brined and seasoned, but it also comes with a packet of pickling spices, which typically includes mustard seeds and allspice berries, among other things. So I use the crock pot method of cooking. All you have to do is place the brisket into your crock pot, sprinkle the seasoning packet over top. If you want, you don't even have to do that because the meat is already flavored. And then I covered it with water. So in my crock pot, that took about 6 cups of water. You can do a similar method without having a crock pot. You just put the beef into like a Dutch oven or a large pot on your stove top, cover it with the pickling spices and water, and simmer it for about 3 hours. Here, I cooked mine on low for about 6 hours, and it was falling apart. I couldn't believe at how tender the meat got. In fact, it almost shredded. I didn't really need to slice it. But when I removed the meat, I took a little bit of the fat off the top, and then I sliced it as best as I could against the grain because that's going to give you even more of a tender bite. And that was it. I couldn't believe how simple this was to do. The meat was so flavorful and really just falling apart. It would have been great in a sandwich. That night for dinner, I made my HALUSKI, which isn't a traditional Irish side dish, but it does incorporate that cabbage. So I'll leave that recipe linked for you in my description box below if you want to have the cabbage with your corned beef on St. Patrick's Day. But with my leftover corned beef, I made a hot Reuben dip. This started with a brick of Swiss cheese, which I shredded. Next, in a large mixing bowl, I placed 1 brick of cream cheese that was at room temperature, and then my leftover corned beef. So this was a little over a cup of the chopped up corned beef. You could also just get some at the deli counter if you didn't cook your own corned beef in advance. Then I added in the Swiss cheese and my own Thousand Island dressing. So this was a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, a heaping tablespoon of sweet pickle relish and ketchup, and a sprinkling of garlic powder. Or if you have Thousand Island dressing on hand, you could use about 1/3 cup. Lastly, I added 1 cup of fresh sauerkraut that I drained really well and then stirred this all together. And this is why you want that cream cheese at room temperature, because then it will incorporate evenly with everything else. I greased a pie plate and then spread the dip inside evenly, and this baked at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes until it was golden and bubbling around the edges. You can easily serve this dip with a selection of crackers, but I wanted to use some marble rye toast. I love marble rye when it comes to deli sandwiches, so I took a few slices, toasted them, and then put a thin coat of butter on each one. That's optional, but hey, while I was here, why not? It adds a little bit more richness to the dish. And then I just tried to slice them as best as I could with my kitchen scissors into little toast points, and then you can scoop your dip right on top. And this was so good. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram at Anne's Family Recipe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked my little tutorial on how to make corned beef and my hot Reuben dip recipe. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with more family recipes.